everyone, to another episode of Figuring Out Epilepsy, where we talk about all things epilepsy plus more. So today we are doing things a little bit differently. We have two guests. This is the first time where I have two guests. And you guys may know Trevor. I did an episode with him previously. But today we have Demarcus Charles. And we're going to go a little bit into what happened to him while he was at work. Demarcus, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me, honestly. It means a lot.
Thanks. So what I really wanted to start off with is, when were you diagnosed with epilepsy?
Around 2014, that's when I first experienced my seizure after having a bicycle incident, where obviously I landed on my head. Obviously, it can be different for everyone, but in my case, I landed on my head. And a couple days, it didn't really happen that same day, but a couple days after, I woke up in the hospital and didn't remember absolutely anything that happened. I used to see people when I was in middle school have seizures and stuff like that. And obviously, when you're younger, you don't think anything of it. You're too young to know what it is. Obviously, it's scary and stuff. But when you wake up in the hospital and you got family members sitting there, people you haven't seen in a while sitting there, generally concerned because you're hooked up to machines and something that's never happened to you, because like I'm a healthy kid, a healthy person, like it's never happened to me before. So obviously it was like a big scare for everyone and a big scare for me. And I think the biggest thing that like upsets me, not really upsets me, but always scares me is when I have an episode, is it when people tell me stuff I don't remember at all. And that's probably by far the scariest thing that can ever happen, to be honest.
Yeah, because I have epilepsy as well. I've had it for 23 years now. And yeah, when you wake up from after having a seizure, you're full of mixed emotions, with
100%.
fear and just everything that has happened. You don't remember what happened before. At least that's, I totally understand when you say that it's very scary going through it. What kind of seizures do you have?
So I'm one of those kind of have like order seizures. So sometimes it'll kind of like I'll have like a vision kind of beforehand. So like most of the times I can kind of tell when I'm about to have a seizure, but like I'll start asking and thinking and dreaming and seeing random things that like is not really there, or like I'll be in a dream state. It's really hard to explain because me myself, I'm still trying to figure it out, right? So it's like every time I have one, it's like a stone to learning what I have to.
Yeah, you're still learning. I know. Like I said, I've had epilepsy for over 20 years, and I'm still learning too. I'm still trying to figure things out. I think that's really what, one of the hardest things about having epilepsy is that you're always trying to figure it out and see what works for you.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And how has epilepsy affected your life since?
It's affected it honestly more than I thought it was ever going to be honest. Because sometimes I can't put myself in a position that I know like there's places that I really want to work. Like I'd want to be a heavy crane operator or something like that. But like I sit there and imagine me having a seizure on a job site like that. That's me not ever seeing my kids again. That's me not ever seeing my parents again. That's just I'm a thoughtful person, so I think about the company and the company being in trouble for that when it's not their fault. And it's, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it really limits everything. I haven't really done a bunch of stuff that like I usually used to do, and like I can't really have my head filled with a bunch of stuff because that will honestly cause it too. So it's like it's a huge stepping stone. It's like every day, just like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm slowly seeing the tiny little triggers and when I feel like I'm going to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Before I didn't really know, I used to just, you know what I mean? Just wake up and be like, oh, what happened, you know? Oh, what
Yeah.
happened? But now it'd be like, I had a seizure, right? And like, yeah, like, so like, how did that happen? did I do this when I did this? Because like I think I did this, and you're like, oh, you kind of did that, but then it went something else. But it's like I don't know. It's a weird thing because it's like me. I don't know from like experiencing with you, but like when I have a seizure, it's like you're not there, but you are there. So it's like
Yep.
I'm full fledged staring you in your face when you're talking to me and asking me if you're okay. And I'm full fledged saying, yeah, I'm okay. I just need to sit down. But everyone, apparently I'm just sitting there, not even saying a word. Nothing's coming out of my mouth. My facial like stuff is all different, but like yeah, in my head when they're asking me these questions, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. And then it's blanked and waking up, so it's just like I had one, and it's a scary, frustrating thing, but it's like just like I said, for people to like recognize it and me to think like I'm actually talking to them, but I'm in that state that like it's not, you know
It's
what I
not
mean? Like,
comprehending. Yeah. Yeah, you really rely
it's,
on people around you to fill in the blanks for you because there's a lot during that time that you don't remember and you have no idea what happened. So like as much as they're asking us questions, we're asking them questions.
you're
And we're
asking
like,
exactly
so
the question.
exactly what happened?
Exactly, and it's like you feel asking them too because you don't like they're just as scared and stuff because they just it's traumatizing. You know what I mean? Like it's not
It
something
is.
that you know what I mean. Like you just like you fall before you go to sleep. Like different people have different reactions, and like obviously mine looks scary to certain people, and like the people that I've been with or been around. Like I said, I'm like 6'6", and like sometimes I'm hanging around people that are like 5'4", and like when I have my seizure, like that's dead weight. You're not picking me up. Like if you're
Yeah.
picking me up, I'm screaming. Like apparently that's what they say. You know what I mean? You just become like
Yeah.
a violent. Like you're not trying to be violent, so like you make the whole situation harder and stuff. Like sometimes I hear like, oh, you accidentally hit me in the face, and like sometimes it'd accidentally be a girl, sometimes it'd be a nurse, and like I left the hospital and make sure I found that nurse and apologize, and like obviously they sit there and like you have a seizure, like don't apologize to me. I'm like, but I know, but like there's so many people that like could have took that differently and this and that. Like I really appreciate everything you do. Like I heard I hit you. I just want to say, you know what I mean? Like I'm sorry that I did that, and thank you for everything. I know when like I have a seizure, like when you're incoherent, you're not trying to be rude, but like you're rude, or you're just like straight to the point. Like you know what I mean? Give me this, give me
Yeah.
that. I want this.
Yeah.
Don't mind that. You just, you know what I mean? You just, it's you and you only. And like, as
Yeah.
selfish as it sounds, like you're not trying to be selfish, but then like when you come to, you realize you kind of like you're not really were selfish, but like that kind of behavior comes out when you are like in that seizure state, which is weird.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really control what's going on with your body. So it's like, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I didn't know what I was doing.
You
So
know,
you
yeah.
mentioned that you have kids. How many kids do you have?
So right now I actually have two kids. I have a kid named Wyatt, that's a son, and another son named Rita.
Oh, how old are they?
One's 8 and one's 4.
Okay. Has it, I have a daughter. She's 13. And I
Uh-huh.
know that for the longest time, she felt uncomfortable with me having epilepsy until she got a seizure first aid certified. And then she was like, I got this. I feel like I get more anxiety and just more stressed out having to go to the hospital,
Yeah,
even
that's
though
100%. It's just I'd rather sit at home, be comfortable with my little blanket and my fan blowing in my face, and cuddle with my pillow and just take that headache and
yeah,
and just not hear no sounds, as opposed to
yeah,
being at the hospital with all the lights on, and that's the last thing you want, you know, what I mean, shining in your face and stuff after having and coming to from a seizure and an episode. So
exactly. So let's 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 dive into what happened to you at work. I, I'm absolutely so sorry that happened to you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
uh, I I don't remember the dates, but a while back, 15 months ago, I was working on Canadian Tire, and I suffered a seizure at work, and more or less coming to, I woke up to being handcuffed behind my back and had multiple police officers on top of me, uh, basically assaulting me at this point because like I called, like my coworkers only called for a medical issue and stuff. And I ended up being tasered twice while having my seizure and having my episode and being, you know what I mean, wrestled on the floor by a bunch of officers and stuff. So it was honestly a traumatizing experience, an experience I still go to this day. I still have flashbacks, I still have dreams, I have handcuff scars from, I guess they handcuffed me from behind my back. Feels like it was the tightest they did and tased me. And when you're having a seizure, you have like I said before, you have incredible strength almost. So like, I'm trying to break free and bring my hands to my face while I have handcuffs on my arms. And honestly, it was the most like freakish situation to the point that I woke up back in the hospital again and just like sitting with my family surrounded by me, just like crying and just like I'm still just like wondering if what just happened was kind of a dream or if it was real, and
Yeah.
and just feeling like them telling me like, oh, the police came and you got a seizure at work and you're walking away and they tasered you, and I'm sitting here just coming from a seizure, like coming to from a seizure, and just like. You mean they tased me? Like, isn't that like the last thing you're supposed to do to someone that's already, their brain's already scattered and everything's already, everywhere? You're gonna tase somebody? Like, I'm just as confused, right? And
Yeah.
they kept saying, they didn't only tase you, like, they tased you twice and they all jumped on you. And I don't know, like, just seeing, honestly, thank, uh, thank the Lord to my coworker Ahmed and Devin at the time. I was there. Like I said, everyone on my work knew I had seizures and stuff, and I've had seizures at work a couple times, and it's never went down like that before ever. But like, Ahmed and Devin weren't there, and they didn't record everything because they knew at that point that that wasn't what they were doing was wrong. Like just
Yeah.
straight, just wrong, and it's to be honest, like I'm almost trying to tear up again, but it's just like just hearing me cry and hearing me screech and like. Like I have a deep voice and like I'm screaming like I'm screaming on the top of my thing like scared to death because I don't like I don't know, just watching a video like I don't know why I do it, but sometimes I watch the video over and just see the situation just because like I can't sleep on my shoulder and stuff, and like I get reminded every day of it and stuff, and it's just like hearing me scream, and at the time I was screaming for my girlfriend. The storm's getting me. screaming at screaming at my girlfriend and everything. It's just really it's just a horrible experience, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry that has happened to you. And then you said that you have dreams and nightmares because of it and all anxiety and trauma. Um,
Yeah,
that must be
I
hard to
guess.
navigate, especially already
Honest,
having to deal with epilepsy.
yeah, it's
Is
it's 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 one of those like weird. Like, it's so hard to explain, but it's like some days like I don't know. Like I said, like on the thing, like I'm happy that it happened to me at the same time because like before I wasn't like as educated for my like knowing myself, you know what I mean, and knowing everything I need to know about epilepsy and what triggers me and stuff. But like ever since like that stuff happened to me, and even like I'm glad it happened to me because like a bunch of people are coming together, a bunch of people are starting to understand. I had over, you know what I mean, hundreds of people message me and tell me about things and it's like about like if if there's 100 people that aren't police officers and paramedics and ambulance people telling me what they did was wrong and they should have did this and how do these people that didn't even go to school for like 5 and 6 years, like how do they know the remedy to the situation? And it's like but like the people you call for help let you down, and it's like and that's why there's a
yeah.
big problem like people being scared to call the authorities because like they just they don't they just go for whatever. Like I don't know, it's just reliving that whole situation, and it's just like I said, I look at my wrist every day, I look at my arm every day, and like I still have handcuff bruises, I still have the taser mark in my back, and it's just like constant reminders of something that I didn't I didn't do. I just had a seizure, and like I've had seizures before, and I've never had like, you know what I mean? I might have had like a scrape on my finger, but like I've never had like
Yeah.
the side of my all messed up. Like these are like permanent bruises that I have for the rest of my life, and like I've never had these type of bruises before when I had all my other 50 episodes. So it's really concerning, and like I, I honestly could have died in that situation, and like I could have
Yeah.
hyperventilated with everybody on top of me, and not making me breathe while I'm already my beats per minute and heart rate per minute's already jumped up. You know what I mean? Like that whole
Yeah.
thing, and that's what I said. If I was in the States, I would have been dead.
That should have never happened, especially
No,
from law enforcement and, people who work with the community, people who are out there to help you. They should know at least basic epilepsy, um seizure first aid. That's, I feel like that's like the least they can do, because so many people have it. I know in Canada it's 1 in 100. In the US it's 1 in 26. So for the amount of people that have it, we need to have that where the police are properly trained, so what happened to you doesn't happen to anyone else. And that's,
and this is the I didn't know if like that like because like I said, I have my own seizures and I have my things. So like prior to this stuff, I didn't go and do my research about like.
yeah.
Obviously, I knew they should know about like the proper ways to deal with people because like if someone's getting shot, there's a proper way to treat that. If
Yes.
someone's getting this, a proper way. But like not until Trevor came along and he brought to like my attention and brought to like everyone's attention, like they already have these modules and stuff in set like basic thing that they should already know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So like, if I didn't know that, they definitely don't know that. And that's probably just the first page they wrote their name on and then slipped over to the next page because like that stuff is really, 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 really important. And like I said, if I was in the States and this happened, I probably would have been dead with the type of situation I went on because like I said, I'm a 6'6" black person that was acting aggressive and I'm swinging my arms recklessly. They're gonna think I was just off drugs and not even
Yeah.
having a seizure. Sorry to say, like
Yeah.
that situation can be so different in so many ways that it's like I'm mad that I got tased in my hands behind my back, but like I'm happy I'm alive. But like it's like you know what I mean. But I wish it didn't happen. But then if it didn't happen, then they wouldn't shed a bigger light to the situation with people with epilepsy. Like there's so many like back and forth things that like I look at that I'm happy and mad about. And it's like I don't know, I'm still coping these 15 months later, you know what I mean? Till this
Yeah.
day, like I'm still coping with it.
I guess it's like a bittersweet type of situation where it's like it you're upset that it happened, but at the same time you find the good in the situation. Like, you're still here with us, people are talking about this situation that has happened to other people before. And I know Trevor, he has the mandatory training, right? That you're the petition that you're still having.
Yeah, I mean, just to rewind a couple steps, I mean, I had the pleasure, even though it was horrible circumstances, to connect with Marcus because we reached out. Our organization, the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance, reached out to Marcus because we heard about his story through the media. So the story was covered through all the media across Canada, and we hear about the story of a man who's having epilepsy, having seizures while leaving work and getting tased. We made sure that we were able to connect with Marcus, and I know he had connected with our past president, Cynthia Milburn, from the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance, who at the very least started off with just offering support, reminding Marcus about the programs and services that exist for people living with epilepsy, offering lawyers to Marcus, because I think Marcus at that point was getting millions of offers from lawyers wanting to support
Millions.
Wow.
Marcus, but basically offering Marcus to be there for as little or as much as needed, because we knew that Marcus was dealing with a lot. And then we ended up Marcus connected us to his lawyer, and then we just kept on regular communication with Marcus and his lawyer, and reminding Marcus's lawyer, I think he didn't know at the time, that this police course exists and it's in the police portal, and that we have a petition going to not only remind the public that there is a course available, but to take this course that's a course and make it mandatory, because that's the frustration, is that there's a course in the portal, but it's not mandatory for these police to take the course.
Yeah.
So right now we have about 5,000 signatures, and it's not as many signatures as we appreciate the 5,000, but for a cross Canada or North American petition, we want it to be even more signatures.
So if you guys can, hit the link below and go ahead and sign that petition to have it mandatory epilepsy training, because I think it's evident that they need it to be mandatory.
100%.
Yeah.
And for those that have signed the petition, we appreciate that, but here's some more homework. How about the public does this one thing? I want you to go to your local police station and just simply ask this one question. Have you been trained to deal with someone who has epilepsy? We all have family members, we all have acquaintances and friends, we all probably know a police officer. Contact that police officer with not an argument, not any sort of drama. Just ask them, hey, have you been properly trained to deal with someone who's living with epilepsy?
Yeah, definitely do that. I know someone here in California that works for the police, and I've never asked that question. I can definitely go and do my part as well. Through this whole thing, how have you been feeling? Because I know so you were essentially charged with assault. You were charged with assault, which is absolutely crazy. When I first heard that you're the one getting tased, not once but twice, having all these bruises and getting hurt by the police, and you're the one getting charged with assault. How is that? What were you going through when you were dealing with all the legal battles?
So like the crazy thing about it was like I woke up from like coming to, and like I was still handcuffed to the hospital like bed, and I wasn't allowed to leave until I signed the papers and what I like assaulted, and then I'd show up to court with those charges against me. And like at that time, I just wanted to go home. I more or less didn't even really kind of like read the paper. They kind of told me it, but like I did not want to be there. I'll let you know that. I just wanted to be home. And like I signed it, went home, couldn't even sleep for like the week, but then actually like read the papers, and it's like I'm sitting there like, what do you mean I'm assault? I got 3 times of this for assault of this? Like, how does that even make sense? Like, that doesn't even like. It was still mind-boggling to me because, like, for the longest time, I still wouldn't even take into comprehension of like what charges I had, because it didn't even make sense of how I got charged. So I didn't even mind what the charges were, because it just you're actually charging someone for having a seizure and having an episode, and you weren't properly trained, and like you're coming at me while I'm still in my episode, and like I'm walking around still, you know what I mean, not knowing what's going on. You're not calming me down, but you're coming at me aggressive. Like it's like everything about that whole situation is just so wrong, and just like it all could have been avoided if they actually had the proper training. It all could have been avoided if they sat for like 5-10 minutes. Because like I said, my manager called and said my coworker is having a seizure. He didn't say my coworker's robbing the store. My coworker has, you know what I mean? Like he said he's having a seizure. Like, they could have easily just came and like I'm sorry. I guess it was 2 female officers, but like I'm huge. Like I'm big. Like I'm sorry. Like I don't think 2 female paramedic people in a situation like that is like obviously like, well, I'm not there and I'm incoherent. Like, I'm sorry that I hit them, and I wish if I actually knew their names, I'd go up to them and apologize, because I didn't do that on purpose. But like, they escalated the situation, and they ended up calling the police, which ended up getting me tased and ended up giving me injuries that I honestly feel is going to be like to the end of my life. And I feel like all I got out of it was like a little shove, and all I got out of it is like a fractured, like, you know what I mean? Like I barely move my arm like this, and like it just doesn't make sense. And it's like these are the people we're supposed to look up to and call for help. And it's like the scariest thing in the world that I'm getting abused by that.
If I could say something to that, Marcus and Sam, like, because sometimes when this story gets shared, I read in the comments below these articles, well, the police and the paramedics didn't know that Marcus had epilepsy. They didn't know that he was having a seizure. If I mean, not that I'm encouraging you to watch this video, because it's really upsetting to watch this video of Marcus being tased, but the video is very clear. You hear people around Marcus telling the police, telling the paramedics, he has epilepsy. He's having a seizure. So
Yes.
it was quite clear that he was having a seizure. So I want everyone that's listening to this, watching this, to know the police, the paramedics knew he was having a seizure. Because I feel like sometimes the comments are getting told, well, the police and the paramedics didn't know, they were just trying to protect themselves. They knew he has epilepsy, they knew he was having a seizure.
Yes, because his coworkers know that he has epilepsy, know he has seizures, and that's the reason why they called the police in the first place, called for help in the first place, because they were worried about his safety. So it's not like no one knew. It's not like it was a secret or anything. People knew, and people were saying, like, I've seen the video. It is absolutely upsetting. It's hard to watch, and if you really pay attention, you hear it in the video clearly saying he has seizures, he has epilepsy. So, I mean, I understand that the police need to protect themselves as well. But, when you're being told certain information, you need to take that information into account. And you need to respond properly. And tasing someone with epilepsy is not going to help the situation.
But when we say protect themselves, like, I mean, I know we've said this too. Marcus has heard me say this rant a million times in the past few months. When I've helped a person that's having a seizure, and I make sure I push things out of their way so that the person having the seizure isn't harming themselves. I'm not thinking about, well, maybe as I'm doing that and trying to find a pillow or a jacket to put under the person's head, I'm not thinking, oh, well, maybe the person that's having a seizure might kick me or might hit me by accident. Because as I said to Marcus, I've been kicked many times in places I don't want to be kicked, but I don't respond back to the person and lash out. I don't take it defensive. I don't get upset. I don't take it personal that person's trying to harm me in any way. So that's the frustration, is that, yes, I understand the police are trying to be safe. They're trying to protect themselves. But if they knew that he was having a seizure, if they had simply stood there and did nothing,
just
or
watch.
even just offer just watch, or even just be a good human being and offer compassion by, oh, does anyone have a jacket to make sure he doesn't hit his head on the ground? Basically, if the police did nothing, that would have been a way better support system for Marcus.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And that's why it's so important that people really get educated on seizures and how to respond to it properly, because, to avoid situations like this. One thing that did kind of upset me about the whole thing too is that they're asking you to sign a paper when you're coming out of a seizure. When you're coming out of a seizure, you're still not there. I'm not back to myself for like a week. I can function properly as far as do everyday things after 2 days. So the fact that they're having you sign this paper saying that, oh, I assaulted right after a seizure is also like mind blowing to me. Hey everyone. I just want to thank you guys for tuning into Demarcus's episode. I really enjoyed our talk that we had, and I love how positive he is for such a horrible situation. He truly tries to look for the good in everything, and I really appreciate that about him. But I also want to apologize for everyone for not putting out a complete episode. There was part of Demarcus's interview that got cut short. I don't know what happened. We were having a lot of technical difficulties while recording, and unfortunately I don't have all the footage that we recorded. So I'm sorry for that. I do wanted to let you guys know what he was saying. He did mention how he gets anxious and he has a hard time sleeping after everything that went down. So he is struggling, but like I said, he does try to be positive, and he really just wants to help people with his story, and hopefully it doesn't happen to anyone else. So I really thank Demarcus for taking the time to coming on the podcast and interviewing with me. I would also like to say, send your love and support towards Demarcus, and we got your back, Demarcus. Whatever you need, just don't hesitate to reach out. But yeah, I hope him all the best, and I hope we can get him on here and, really get to know him as a person and who he is and what he's up to. And hopefully things turn around for him. He is such an amazing person, so strong. And like I said, I really enjoyed our conversation. So thank you guys for tuning in every week to listen to the podcast. I really appreciate everyone. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.